Dhyanamoolam Gurumurti Pujamulam Gurupadam Mantramulam Gururvakyam Mokshamulam Gurukripa. Om Shri Gurave Namaha. Ayom. Last Monday, we talked about agree to disagree. And I'm pretty sure in the last week, all of us must be having enough number of chances to apply, agree to disagree. Purpose behind that one was to reduce the vikshepa, the agitation in the mind. And we know that day in and day out, our agitation, or the amount of agitation, keeps on increasing. And you may wonder, why am I saying so? And every time we add something to our memory, and as we keep on adding to the memory, we're adding to I-ness, ego, self-identity. Because every time we learn something, it is so important to understand, every time we learn something, what we are really doing, we are adding something to our ego. Because see, the understanding, whatever we understand with our eyes, with our ears. So we keep on seeing something. What do you really mean by seeing? Because you are becoming knowledgeable to any additional object. When we look at any additional object, let's take the example of some of the, and I'm not saying whether necessary or not necessary. Let's not get into it. But just understand that anything that we either read, we hear, we smell, we taste, or we feel, that is with our sense organs. I'm just saying we are using our eyes, just understand. So ears are also our eyes, we hear and we gain something, knowledge, at almost every single moment in our life. We are reading, we are seeing something, and we are adding to our memory. And memory is nothing but some kind of identification. That doesn't mean you need not have to have memory, because we are living a life. But then what is the difference? What do we really need to do? So today, I would like to talk about third eye, or you can say Agna Chakra, or Agna Chakra, Kshetra, whatever you call it. And it is so important that all of us, we come to realize it. And we know that if we take the example of expense and income, we have talked about this matter. So everything, any external knowledge that we gain, including some of the yoga practices, also understand that doesn't mean you don't do it. So as soon as we learn something, what do you really mean by learning? One has to ask oneself this question. Because all what we are studying and we are learning and we are adding to our memory is about other than us. Ask yourself, anything that we do, every time we were born, if we were not learning, we were forced to learn, so-called our parents. And when we are the parents, we also make sure, as if we are the brilliant people, that we want to pass on this so-called disturbance phenomena to our children and our grandchildren, our friends. So really, what needs to be done? Every time when we were studying Yoga Sutra, Patanjali Yoga Sutra, Chitta Bandha, Desha Chitta Bandha Dharana, that aspect we began, but how often? Even so-called in meditation, we are trying to learn something. We are not trying to unlearn something. And we may even say, oh, today's meditation was better than yesterday. That means meditation is a thing. I can say this mouse is better than the other mouse. I can say Chris is better than Mukesh. So even though you may say Mukesh and Chris are not any non-living entity, and I don't mean object to be non-living, object to be living as well. So objects are those who are other than you. Anything other than you is object. Now, understanding this is a little, you don't have to spend any additional time for today's practice that we're going to learn. But the word awareness will come into picture. You can have your eyes open, but don't see. You say, what? You have your eyes open and you don't see? Yes. One thing all of us, we have to understand, if we use these two eyes, what in Sanskrit called charma chakshu, charma, leather or the skin, chakshu, eyes. The eyes made up of these two entity with which we see it. So whenever these two are open or are in use, the other one is not in use or cannot be used at all. It is like, it may be useful everywhere, but if you take an example of a hospital, hospital will always have, ideally should have, what is called an diesel or other generator in case electricity fails, then the generator kicks in. Have you heard about it? Have you seen about it? So really what happens is, it is so instantaneous. As soon as these two closes, then only, I would call it instantaneously, sometimes even when these two eyes are not working, our third eye may not kick in. But in order for the third eye to kick in, we definitely have to close our eyes. And remember, a few minutes ago, I mentioned, I'm referring these two eyes to be all the five sense organs. So when all the five sense organs stop seeing it, stop hearing, smelling, tasting, touching, feeling, then only there is a possibility that the Agna Chakra may kick in. So now in that light, and Agna Chakra, or our third eye, is the only answer. And that is when Patanjali has put in 4 chapters on how to energize and realize and become aware of your third eye. Various names have been given. All of us, we have studied what is called Raj Yoga. And we have heard enough about Bhakti Yoga, Karma Yoga, Raj Yoga, Jnana Yoga. But we're still failing to ask, then what? So I thought it is such an important topic to talk about and learn something on it. Again, mind you, learning on it is also an additional knowledge, still objective knowledge. But that objective knowledge is necessary to remind us so that we may not make the same mistake even for this knowledge. Are you guys with me so far? Okay. So then what we really need to do is, no matter what you do, have your eyes open. I'm not saying sleep 24 hours, but have your eyes open, but don't see it. What do you mean by don't see it? And not to see will come into picture. Let me give you an example. Try to regress, meaning instead of progress, try to regress, go back. Meaning, all what we know is nothing but the so-called knowledge that we have accumulated. We can read Bhagavad Gita, Upanishad, and we can boldly say, oh my God, you didn't read Mandukya Upanishad, we studied. So that is, and I'm not saying don't study, understand that. But that is an additional thing that your eyes saw. so that you know that you know. But here, knowing that is an object because you're knowing something about. Even Mandukya Upanishad, that itself is an object. Even if you know all the scriptures of the world, don't think you will understand or you will realize the bliss. And 99% of us, we spend time in collecting, knowing. Just a simple statement that with our eyes, when could we or shall we stop seeing it? Not to have any additional knowledge. On our picnic, whatever we were learning, and those aha moments were to take us beyond our logical reasoning, logical thinking of good and bad. Have you realized that over the course of time, in the 1 week, that as soon as you go through the aha moment, and what is that aha moment? Aha moment comes into the picture that we see beyond our eyes. We see beyond the object. So let me tell you that for whatever reason, I don't like Maheen. So now, when did I start disliking Maheen? Not before I know her for sure. Is that correct? Think. Somebody may not like my famous character, mother-in-law. But was mother-in-law existing in your brain before you got married? Think. So try to regress and go back and go back and go back. And try to see as if you have never seen before. And before even you reach to the age of marriage, if you happen to meet the same lady who later on became your mother-in-law, would you have been hating her? Think. No. Why no? Because she, even though is an object, but you're seeing it the first time. Many years ago, and I think all of you would realize, because during Randy's time, we had a talk, little bit introduction about Mandukya. And when we came out and met in front of a Macy's hall, Randy made a beautiful statement. And Randy says, I want all of you to turn around and look at the tree. So everybody turned around. And then I said, now turn around 180 degrees and tell me, what did you see? So almost everybody started saying, oh, I saw a tree. What did you see in the tree? Oh, tree. Why? Because you knew that you knew. And you were recollecting your memory, and you saw with your eyes, but did not see with the center eye of aha moment, the first time watching it. And so to say, with this example, understand that we increase our objective knowledge. Tree, mother-in-law, Maheen, or anybody else. But if you go to before knowing, before I knew Maheen, I wasn't disliking her. Or same way, let's change the phenomena. I like her, I love her. But did I like her and love her before I met her? The first time? Probably not. More than likely, no. So understand what we mean by the word vikshepa, disturbance. And we're trying our best to calm the mind down. Almost at least once a week, I must be getting a phone call saying that you have, Swamiji, any new meditation technique? As if the newer one will calm you further down. Or it's like taking a better dose of Tylenol to take care of your headache. Very important point, dear friends, all I say. And why is this? Vikshepa, the disturbance. As soon as disturbance is present, peace does not exist. And peace, love, yourself, everything is the same word. What are we truly doing? So now you understand what I meant by we keep on keeping our eyes open. We are learning the best thing we can learn. But are we feeling time? First of all, first thing need to be done is, before even we try to calm the mind down, before even we try to go into regression, and please, please, please understand, I don't mean you go and spend $500 to a psychologist and go into regression analysis, okay? Because that is a lot more than regression, it's a progressive analysis, as if you were not disturbed enough. You cannot handle even the present thing, so you want to go into the past, whether you were a dog or a cat. So understanding this first and very important point is to see that we do not invite additional knowledge, additional information. Stop that. So that you're not additionally spending money. So what really we need to do, keep your eyes open, but don't see. Keep your ears open, but do not hear. That means you do yoga nidra in true sense. We are guiding ourselves so that your rest of the organs of perception quiet down. And finally, the last instruction that we tell ourselves is enjoy the ocean of peace. We say, but that too, do we really enjoy the ocean of peace? My voice disturbs you. Even though some of you may like my voice, but that is still a disturbance. So I sometimes feel I really do not deserve to be your friend to guide you in the proper direction. So understanding these minute points, first and foremost, diesel generator cannot kick in unless the electric power supply is on. So far as our eyes, and once again, I'm saying when I use the word eye, I mean all the five sense organs, okay? So far as our eyes are open, we will not have even the slightest possibility of the third eye. Slightest. We have spent this many years and this many lives, if I may use the word, and if you don't want to think of the past birth and so, just think of this birth only. That's good enough for us to learn. And the example that I was giving was that the disturbance of disliking Mahim did not exist before even I know her. So anything that you know, may it be comfortable or not comfortable, it is a disturbance. And the moment the disturbance exists, what does not exist? Peace. Peace is nothing but its own natural state. Unless I bring in additional knowledge and make the sound, that means peace is disturbed. But if I'm not making any sound at all, if I'm not seeing anything with this charma chakshu, with my leather eyes, at least I'm not creating any additional disturbance. So do we all know by now how much it is important that, really speaking, so-called meditation practice, after doing the meditation practice, when there is a possibility of true meditation, we come out of it and we start open our eyes, listen to the nice music, listen to some stories, or some news for sure, or what shall we cook tomorrow, what time should I wake up, and blah, blah, blah. So the silence exists, but that silence we disturb with our opening of the eyes. So to say, dear friend, do our best to see that we minimize the use of our eyes. Eyes, and I'm talking about, you know how many eyes we're talking about. So, and then spend time in first do dharana, that is just on one object, as much focus on it. But try not to focus with an awareness of taking care of your body. Bodies will be taken care on its own. Your headache will go away. Your diabetic condition will go away. Your blood pressure will go away. That's just the 5% benefit. but 95% benefit is to go to the Agna Chakra, the third eye. And you don't have to do anything on it, okay? As and when this first time aha moment comes in, that is the time you will come to realize that what I was seeking outside of us in the name of so-called knowledge, and almost all religious activities are also a disturbance, which is supporting your fear, because almost all of us would like to be liberated. We want to go to the heaven, which we don't know, no matter what is the religion. So, and that knowledge is also a great vikshepa, great disturbance. And that disturbance continues, no matter what shall we do. As soon as you start suffering from something, then immediate fear sets in. Oh my God, what shall happen if I die tomorrow? Okay, the biggest fear. But then if you stop seeing or stop using the two eyes, then you really don't know what death is in the first place. And as I was saying that my mind was not disturbed before I saw Mahim, your mind is definitely not disturbed when you didn't know what death is in the first place. But now what? You have already seen, so-called, heard about the death, and that will keep on disturbing you. But at least do not add to your expenses. Mind is disturbed, agitated. Try not to add any further disturbances. So please allow some time for yourself in which you do not see anything. Or at least whatever you see, you minimize it. And understanding this, what can I say? Understanding this, we have to be as quiet as possible, spend some time in silence, doing nothing. And doing nothing more so because you just look through the window, look at the plants as if you have never seen, look at the flowers. And that's exactly what it meant by you cannot step into the same water of a river again. How often we have heard it. Time is flowing by. But still we would like to step into over and over and over. Even though we dislike mother-in-law, but we bring in 10 times a day minimum. Why? If that thing is hurting you, why do it? Oh, but Swamiji, I love it. Right? And in that light, just a few more words. If you bring in, if you close your eyes, but be aware that your eyes are closed. If you are not aware and you close your eyes, that means either you are in sleep state or in a drunk state. Understand this point very well, Mukesh. So important. So awareness is the key. Be aware that yes, my eyes are open, but I'm not seeing anything. And if at all you do see, you see it as if you're seeing the first time. So I will stop here and I will let each one of you put in your question or agreement or disagreement, and we can have an open forum for a few minutes. So all of you may just want to turn on your microphone. Good. I'm glad you did. So only Pushpaban as in turn on. Okay. You guys, if you can, turn on your pictures, that's fine too, so that you can have active participation. But at the same time, I understand they are honoring my statement of closing the eyes. Okay. Whosoever wants to begin. Well, I'm already over the time. My God, 6 minutes. Okay. Mukesh will be just stopping any minute. Do you have any?
Yeah. Can you hear me, Sunaji?
Very well. Go ahead.
Okay. Good. No, this is a very deep subject. We can talk about this on and on. In other words, the knowledge, in this case, knowledge becomes, too much knowledge makes you rigid, basically. So try to minimize gaining and knowledge about anything. I'm not talking about spiritual knowledge, but just worldly knowledge.
Absolutely. Objective knowledge.
Objective knowledge, yes.
Very good.
Yeah. Because that makes us rigid, and then you're, like you said, you have preconceived idea of something before you even see it.
That's right. I mean, today I dislike Mahim. Tomorrow I will dislike Mukesh. What is new? And equally, I may start liking Chris. So like or dislike, no, really, like or dislike,
yeah,
all dislike. If you understand my broken English. Like or dislike are all dislikes.
Right. You're set in your own way, basically.
Exactly.
Not open for any possibility.
Correct.
So, okay.
Anybody wants to challenge Mukesh?
Oh.
Yeah, it's an open forum because we learn sometimes a lot with the discussion.
Okay. I have a question.
Yes.
An observation. How do you live in this world, actually participate in this world without Vikshepa? That's part of living.
Beautiful.
Part of living your life is using your eyes, is using your nose, smelling, doing all those things and learning knowledge.
Okay.
That's what we're taught as children. That's what we're taught as we're grown up.
Okay.
To be disturbed. That's part of our, in our society, that's expected of us. We can't get ahead unless we're disturbed, unless we have Vikshepa.
Fantastic.
If we don't have Vikshepa, then what do? We sit and we meditate all day long? Now, come on. We can't, I'd love to be able to be in a position where I could be we do Yog Nidra, and I feel so good when we come out of that. No, not when we come out of it, when we're in it. But when we come out of it, we come into Vikshepa. We always have disturbance.
Beautiful. See,
So how do we live? How do we live in this world without Vikshepa unless we become swamis or we become ascetics? It doesn't. It's frustrating.
Chris, at this time, I must tell you, please don't be under the impression that swamis are not disturbed.
Okay.
Okay?
Uh-huh.
They are attempting to it, okay, but I have yet not seen.
So you're agreeing the Vikshepa is part of living.
I wouldn't say that.
What would you say?
Okay, let Maheen say something. Because I dislike her, so let her say something.
No, actually, I agree with both of them, with Mukesh and Chris. What you talked about at this stage in our life, we are too much shaped to what we've been brought up with. So what you talk about is beyond being in all the best things in life, but how do you practice that? How do you, first of all, I think this subject is so deep that you just touch the surface tonight. Yep. And to get exactly to the point or even be able to understand it completely, there is much more needed to talk about, but also when you say don't see with your eyes, I don't think you mean actual physical eyes. I think it's basically don't see in anything with your eyes open. Don't see anything with your ear. Just don't see or to be in a state of being that none of these things comes to your disturb you, or you're in Vikshepa. That being by yourself without seeing or hearing anything doesn't have to be physical. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, Venkat.
Yeah, I feel this is a good topic. One thing I feel, more we are able to go inside, introverts, rather than seeing from outside, think about outside, that can help maybe bring out remove the agitation or calm the mind, or able to see reality inside.
Okay. Now, all of us, we have to start thinking, what do you mean by inside and what do you mean by outside?
That is, outside is like, of course, that one, maybe seeing something, some other person, think about that person, what is he, how he looks like, what he is thinking, good or bad. Seeing inside is how you are feeling, what is going on inside that one, feel the sensations, and maybe like how the breath is going inside, and building the awareness inside that one, that may help out, I think.
Pushpa Ben Mahendrabhai.
Hari Om, I am still trying to get around this subject. I am not there yet. So I need more time.
Definitely.
But I'm listening to everyone.
Okay, and let me tell you, is it okay for me to assign some homework?
Of course.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, all of you say yes, okay?
Okay.
I didn't say that.
So that I know those who say yes. next Tuesday, next Monday will be only me talking to myself. Okay. Let me give you one homework. Apply to this today's pertaining to our today's lecture or today's discussion. Apply Mandukya Upanishad. That means you're seeing the gold ornaments. You see the gold ornaments or you see the gold. Apply that, start thinking on it, and please, please be ready to talk about it the following Monday. Okay? Even if you want to jot down, you jot down some point, and you keep on thinking that Sonaji asked us to apply Mandukya Upanishad to the state as compared to the 3 states. Everybody noted that point? Then don't call me the following Sunday and say, what about that 3 or 2 topics? Right. Anyway, sorry.
Turiya state as, what was the, Turiya state as, not the 3 stages?
Turiya state.
Okay.
The gold state and not the ornament. Ornaments. Okay?
Okay.
So,
Sonaji, I have a question.
uh-oh.
So are you saying that we should observe during the week, observe the gold rather than the ornaments? Which you mean for example, give an example.
Correct.
Can you give me an example?
No, that example I want you to give me.
No, I wanted one example from you.
No, if I tell you that the chapter ends, contemplate on it.
Would that mean, for example, no, seriously, would that mean something like looking at the essence of things, what the true essence of something is?
Yeah, yeah.
Like, I think you mean, Sonaji, like if you look at a chair, where from the chair came wood, where from the wood came, look at the core part of it rather than the edge part of it. Is it like that?
Well, let us discuss this point.
Yeah.
Each one of you think independently. Okay.
So, but the 2 subjects haven't. Right now, my brain is bursting because I'm trying to understand the connection.
Okay. Let us
between the tonight subject and Turiya state.
Okay, understand. Just contemplate, yes, because this is not going to be a knowledge per se. It is going to be so convinced that this becomes your experience, and start applying what the conclusion you come to in your mind to a couple of days of example. And then you see whether what your proposal was, does it get any proof out of your experience? Are you following with me, Chris?
Yeah.
Okay, in other words, whatever you say that you think for the gold and not for the ornaments per se. Don't look at the shape of the necklace, but look at the shape of the gold. Okay?
Look at the gold, not, yeah.
So when you're talking to Maheen, out of that talk, apply what is gold and what is necklace. You eat something, apply the same thing. And try, and I'm not saying that's a correct answer or wrong answer or right answer, but if that is your proposal, then look for the detail.
So you have given 2 areas. One is gold versus ornaments. Other one is Turiya state compared with the other 3 states.
I'm not saying anything. This was since
Okay.
Chris started disturbing me.
As I said, Sanaji, life is Vikshepa.
Oh, such a powerful statement. But there is a way out.
Right. And that's what we'll be contemplating on this week.
Beautiful. God bless you, my friend.
Homework assignment.
Yeah. Otherwise, because if I keep on informing you,
Right.
then that is one more disturbance.
Exactly.
Then you know that you know.
Yep.
You will give lecture like I do to 10 other people. But with that, are you disturbed or not? That's the key. By giving lecture, what is the state of your Vikshepa?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Anyway.
I'm calling Chris.
Don't call me. I don't know what I'm talking about.
You understood everything.
No, I didn't. We have a lot of homework to do, guys.
Yes, very good, Chris. But your statement was so powerful that yes, our life is full of Vikshepa. All right. And if you genuinely contemplate on it, then you will start seeking what causes the Vikshepa. It's not Maheen or me or Pushpa or anybody. What causes it? And that type of homework we all have to do. All right. Let's just observe a minute of silence before we all depart. Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om.
Hari Om.